Hey there, Latin 3 and Latin Challenge and possibly Latin 4 if you're looking for a review. I want to talk to you now about the different case uses of the gerunds and the gerundives. I'm going to go through them literally on a case-by-case basis. We're going to start at the top and just work our way all the way down. So each video will be a specific case. So these will be short. That way you can digest it as you are working. So first, I would actually encourage you to take a look at page 63 because page 63 and 64 of the Latin 3 textbook deals with the nominative use of the gerundive. Now, there is no such thing as nominative of the gerund because that only exists in the inflected cases. But the nominative use of the gerundive, that does exist. It's called the Gerundive of Obligation. That's how I grew up knowing it, but also I grew up at a time where the old guard was dying off and the new guard was coming in, so I also learned it as something called the Passive Periphrastic. Peri means almost, phrastic meaning phrase, so it's almost a phrase, it's not quite, and it's passive because it's a gerundive. Gerundives are future passive in their meaning. Now, I'm telling you to use good English, all right? But I will also let you hear the bad English as we go because it will have a better impact for you. So this is what new Latin teachers, that's people born before 1918, would call it is the gerundive of obligation. However, most Latin teachers were born, people born after 1918. However, most Latin teachers who are alive today in the colleges are still born before 1918 because when you teach Latin, you become as old as water. And so they will often call it the passive periphrastic. I think the British teachers still do that as well. So this is the nominative use, all right? And here is the nominative use. What you have here is the nominative use. It only exists for the gerundives, okay? It's called the Gerundive of Obligation. I am sorry about the glare there. It's almost summertime. Now, it's usually accompanied by two things. A form of sum esse and something called the dative of agent, okay? And the best example I can give you right now is Nunc haec epistula mihi conficienda est. Okay, so I've color-coded it a little bit. So mihi is your dative of agent, and the est is the form of sum esse. Now, what I would like to point out to you, okay, nunc haec epistula, that is feminine nominative singular, which means conficienda, the gerundive, it has to modify it, so it is also nominative feminine singular. The good English is, now I should finish this letter. The way that you can also translate this, nunc haec epistula mihi conficienda est, now there is a letter for me to finish. Okay, or now this letter is for me to finish. Okay, so now if you notice, or even better, let's go even worse English, now this letter will be finished by me. So that is future and it is passive. Well, when it's future passive, really what it is it's your mom telling you that there's dishes for you to do, and she just doesn't want to say you need to do the dishes, right? So there are dishes in the sink for doing, or there are dishes in the sink for you. Okay, there is a doing of the dishes in the sink for you. It kind of works that way. Now, the weird thing is you could actually, and I'm going to get out my high-tech eraser, a napkin, you can actually erase est. God, I hope I do this right. You can actually erase est and it still works. Nunc haec epistula mihi conficienda. Because it's understood that an est is implied. Okay, est is a weak verb. So this still translates as this. Okay, and you could actually erase mihi and it still works. Nunc haec epistula conficienda. Now, we don't necessarily know who must finish it, but it would just change the translation a little bit. So instead of now I should finish this letter, you could say now we have to finish this letter, or now this letter should be finished. Any number of possibilities, but you can actually just do it like that. So that's why I said it's usually accompanied with either a form of sum esse or a dative of agent, or both. But you don't actually have to have all of them in. So for instance, Cato used to say, Carthago delenda est. And it was understood that the nobis was just implied. So Carthage must be destroyed. Okay? And you can play around with it like that. So in order to understand this, what I strongly recommend is you take a look at exercise 59D and 59E in the Latin 3 textbook. Those are both on page 64. They give you a small example on the top of the dative of agent, but then those exercises. I want you to, when you do these exercises, actually do them in bad English and then do them in good English, okay? Because I want you to get a feel for how this was used and how it worked in their mentality. I think grammar gives us a good look into the psychology of a culture. So 59D, little d, and 59 little e, do those, and that should help you to kind of just drive home the nominative use of the gerundives, okay, which is only used with the gerundive of obligation. So that is the assignment that is there for you to do. There is a button hitting for me.